if we go back to the original analogy and think hand pump versus flywheel, the most common thing that we would have put on that well would be like the hand pump that you'd find at a campground. On one hand, it has a nice long handle that gives you leverage. That's way better than dropping a bucket down in there and pulling it directly up. But it has like linear up and down motion. There's a pretty strong correlation between effort and impact. The moment you stop pumping, you stop getting results. And we ran a influencer program for ConvertKit. I realized later it was the hand pump process. And basically what it was is we said, okay, we want user-generated content of people talking about how they use ConvertKit. In hindsight, I was like, what were we doing? But we went out and like identified 30 or 40 creators we wanted to work with, a mix of Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, that kind of thing, short form, long form video. They were all different sizes of audience. We figured out what content was the right pitch for each one of them, like for them to talk about, made that bespoke. We negotiated custom contracts because some were like, I don't have a big audience, but I'll make you great content that you can then run as ads. Others were like, you're really paying for access to my audience of 100,000 subscribers. So it was all custom from there. Then the reporting and everything else. And we ran that. We probably got 4 months into that before we realized actually what happened is the person running it took another job somewhere else and it just died. Like there was no momentum and no continuation on it. And when I looked at, one thing that bothers me is anytime something that I think will work really well dies out and the team is like, no, that was a terrible thing. Like, that was a terrible idea. And I'm like, no, but there's something here. And so I dove in and was trying to figure out what went wrong here. And I realized that we had just made the most ridiculous hand pump process and there's no flywheel there. There's really no leverage. The bigger this got, the more work the person managing it had to do. And we're going to have to hire someone else and on from there. And so I sat down with Tom, our head of social media, and mapped out, we worked together to come to, okay, what's the flywheel version of this? And what we realized is we need to focus on earlier stage creators. So they all fit into a nice bucket and a single contract can work for all of them. And if someone's like, hey, but what about like my audience is 5 times as big? And it's like, cool, this program's not for you. And so what we came to is said, okay, we're paying all these creators $1,000 a month. It's locked. We'll do it for 6 months at a time. Next thing is every creator gets the same brief. So our product marketer knows, here's what we're promoting this month. Huge release for our automations. They already wrote this brief for the whole marketing campaign. That brief gets tweaked a little bit, but then dropped in and all 15 creators who are in this program get the same brief.
And it would be the same if there's 150 of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Super high leverage. Yeah.
And then as it goes through, you think, okay, we have a content review process, right? Is this something that we would want to post? Well, let's do that in public. They're all creators. They can give feedback on it. Now they're all posting. So we want 3 videos a month. We streamlined and said, we're just doing short form video. Another thing in the hand pump process was, but there's so many platforms. It's like, great. For this flywheel, short form video is it. And then what we realized is, okay, now they can start to give each other feedback and riff off each other and be like, oh, that was a great idea. Like, mind if I do something similar, have them talking to each other in a Slack channel. And then we realized that amplification is really important. What if we incentivize them to all engage with each other's videos? And so we just said, hey, we'll pay out a bonus for any video that crosses 10,000 views. And so now you could easily end up in something of like, say you and I are in it together and I'm like, I could be rooting against you, but now we just flip the incentives and now we're working together. And so my incentive is to comment on your video because that's what the algorithm wants. And you're going to get this boosted. You're going to comment on mine. We're going to drive that early engagement. And we paid out a bunch of these, I think $300 to $500 bonuses for videos that go over 10,000 views and get that traction. And then the next step is that we take the videos that get the most engagement and we give them to our ads team to amplify. And then as we go around, we can further grow the program from there. So it's like a very stark contrast between the hand pump version and the flywheel version. And we had to like cut out a bunch of stuff that would have been nice. We had to exclude a bunch of people that would have loved to partner with us with something else. But now like Tom runs this process in 5 to 10 hours a month, whereas it was someone's full-time job.